Well, good afternoon. I'm Julie Broadway, president here at the American Horse Council, and we're excited about our presentation and our conversation this afternoon with Randy from Compton Cowboys. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little introduction. I'm going to give the floor to Randy. I think he's going to share a little background about himself. We want to get to know him. We're going to hear all about his time when he was in the junior posse, and then the actual Compton Cowboys themselves and some of the things that they're up to and things they have planned. And we're going to do some Q&A at the end. So feel free to jot down your questions or throw them in the chat box at the bottom, and we'll circle back around to those and have an opportunity to have some conversation around that. So I'm just really excited to have Randy with us today. This is a spry young man. He is on the ball. He grew up on a horse ranch in the Richland Farms community of Compton, California. His family, specifically his aunt and his dad, founded the Compton Junior Posse in 1988, which is a nonprofit equestrian program using horses to keep kids off the street. So he is a lifelong born and raised cowboy. He told me in his bio that the social climate of Compton in the 90s was a bit troubled. There was crime and drugs and gangs and a lot of other things that were going on across the city. And so the posse is what kept Randy and his twin brother distracted and away from all that craziness and everything that was out there. And it engaged a lot of other youth in the same way. And they just got excited about having this great outdoor equestrian experience. So he grew up in the junior posse, and they're still going strong. But now in 2017, he formed the Compton Cowboys, which is I call the adult version of the posse. And they're doing some exciting and some great things out there. And we're interested in learning all about that. Now, if I didn't already entice you enough about Randy, I have to tell you this because when he sent me his bio, so he's got a BA in sociology and an MA in music administration. And he's combined all of that in this job of running the Compton Cowboys. He's known as the managing member of the Compton Cowboys. So we're really excited to have him with us this afternoon. So Randy, floor is yours. Tell us all about it.
Thank you so much, Julie, and everybody for being here. I really appreciate y'all's time and just being interested to just hear from us. And I always love having these talks about horses and people and community and how to just make the industry better and make the whole game just move it upwards and forwards, right? So again, yeah, my name is Randy. I am the managing member of Compton Cowboys. I'm the founder. And I grew up my whole life, being around horses. Horses really changed my life, saved my life, kept me off the streets as a kid, did so for so many of my friends. And so we were able to really navigate the treacherous terrain here in Compton at that time with just having the ranch. And God bless my auntie, Maisha Akbar, who provided that safe space for us. She actually grew up just loving horses. She used to watch Westerns on TV with her granddad as a kid. And every time she was out and about running around the city, she would be trying to find, hey, who has horses? Where can I go see a horse at? And so she would always be bugging her mom with my grandma. Hey, can I go find a horse? Can I go get a horse? Can I go get a horse? So that was just her life as a child. So fast forward to when she became a grown up and started building a career in real estate, she stumbled upon this little town called Richland Farms in Compton, which is actually ground zero for the city of Compton, is where Compton was founded. And it turns out the founder of Compton, like many folks in the 1800s, was a farmer himself. And so he set up this little town, Richland Farms. And when he went to incorporate it in 1888, he put in the deed that this town had to remain a farm town forever and be a special place for the farmers. So that's why you can fast forward now to 2021. And we still got farm town. We still got kids. Everybody's riding around on horses. We don't have sidewalks. There's a bunch of dirt roads. Just the culture is very much alive and well here. And so it's just our life, and it spreads so much positive energy. We've been able to build, we have about 3-acre ranch here in Compton. We're managing over 20 horses. And a lot of it is just about keeping kids, again, on horses, off the streets, giving them opportunity, because a lot of what we see where we come from is that the the lack of nature space and the lack of engagement with animals really is what kind of lends the community to being more involved in other things, especially when it comes to the negative attractive quality of the streets. When you're talking about crimes, drugs, gangs, and all those things, when you don't really have options and you don't have an opportunity to engage with nature and have an appreciation for life and being outside and caring for something other than yourself, it's easy to get caught up in the streets and get pulled away in that way. So me and my friends, we were saved from that. We grew up like that. And then one day back in 2017, we got a call from a big brand, a big beer brand called Guinness. And they were just looking for some Black Cowboys to shoot some commercial. And then they were like, hey, we want to shoot this commercial. It's about the community and Black Cowboys, and we want it to be about real people, not actors, and this whole thing. So I said, sure, why not? I'm studying production and entertainment. I'm a producer myself. I have a whole band of Black Cowboys. I got a whole gang with me. And this is my life and my family. So sure, I'll jump on and help you guys. So I jumped in and we produced that commercial, and it was a beautiful piece of work. And it came out, and I got to thinking, man, what if we could make this our shtick, right? Like this could be like, we could be the Compton Cowboys. We could make it a brand. We could be like these new, cool, edgy cowboys from the streets that could like go out and kind of redirect the narrative of Compton, redirect the narrative of what the American cowboy is, redirect the narrative about Black people in the inner city and all these things. And so it's just started, and ever since then I've dedicated my life to that. And when I tell you now, I live an incredible, humble and robust life of horsey activities, everything from cool work stuff where we get to do a lot of filming on all kinds of TV shows and commercials and all this stuff, and then all kinds of really cool stuff in the community where we're able to provide space for young kids who had zero access to horses. We have our local ranch here, and we can introduce children to horses and watch them change and watch the horse change them and watch them grow through their involvement with equestrian activities. And even taking it a step further, we are now in a position where we're setting up our formal athletics divisions where our kids, if they want to take the horseback riding more serious in a serious career capacity, they can go out and train formally with heavyweight, high profile trainers, including Olympians. And we're sponsored by a lot of big corporations and companies like Ariat and those types who really put their resources into helping our kids grow. And actually, I'm happy to announce my student, Zoe Brogdon, 16 years old, she just won the meter 10, the United States Hunter Jumper Association gold medal for zone 10. So she just won. Now she's headed to Vegas this week for the national finals. And that to me is a testament of the coalition that we put together here down in Compton. We got her training. She has the right horse at the right time. She's an incredible athlete and a star student. She has a great team around her. We have people like Will Simpson, who's a U.S. Olympic gold medalist. We have Jessica Springsteen, who just won Tokyo silver for the U.S., came down and trained her and gives her tips and points. And she just won her first big Grand Prix last week. And then this week she went out and won the gold medals at the USJH finals. So that is just incredible development. And we're so happy and proud of the fact that we have a formula that we're putting together that actually has proof of concept, right? You see the Compton Cowboys here. We're thriving, we're building business, we're working in the community. And then we have students who are actually thriving and developing a potential career. And one day we hope to be able to say, hey, Zoe is going to be an Olympic jumper for the United States equestrian team. And we have the support of the USEF as well. I was on the phone with them. They're super stoked about what's going on. We actually got nominated by the FEI for a solidarity award about how we're using horses to change community. So we're really, really building a profile here, and it's really exciting. And just for her to win gold, that makes it all worth it for me. It warms my heart. It shows that what we're doing is super legit. So what I want to do now is kind of show you a video that'll give you just a general gist of our movement. And it's called we have a coalition called United We Ride, which is our whole, Compton Junior Posse, Compton Cowboys, the Compton Junior Equestrians, which is our kids program, and our other affiliate program, Riders United, which is our English jumping athletics club. We all working together to do this thing. And so I want to show you a video now. I'm going to share my screen that kind of gives you a general a spiel about that. So here, and we'll share. Boom. Okay. And I'm going to press play on this thing.
Compton Junior Equestrians. This program has helped me tremendously.
It makes me feel good here. Peace, happiness, fun.
What's up, gang? What's up? It's Randy Savvy here. We in Richland Farms, Compton, California, at the Compton Cowboys Ranch. You see the signs. We out here with our Junior Equestrian program right now. Got the after-school kids here, and we're doing what we do. Let's go. It starts with the horse. The horse is the magnet. It's the magic that these kids want to go and see. A lot of these kids are locals. You know, you come after school, you get to learn all the fundamentals, you get to be around horses, learn how to ride, learn how to feed, and the equestrian way of life is about good stuff. It's land, animals, the appreciation for life and each other. And so that just lends to positive influence over them. They experience a new type of joy, a new type of fulfillment. This is my girl, Coda. She's really nice. She's actually calm, little antsy. And I love taking care of these animals. It's one of my favorite things. I'm currently going to college for economics, and everybody here has been positive and has been helping me out.
A lot of Black people, Black girls don't really have chances like these in life. I feel like I was given a chance to do something great.
The Compton Cowboys is streets raised us, horses saved us, in the sense that they kept us away from the front yard and had us in the backyard. And so we owe our life to horses, and that's what we're doing as our movement now, is paying it forward.
Pinky under. You ready? I squeeze. Good job. Heel shot, fellas up. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Today we're going to look at the definition of the word impossible and understand the true meaning behind it. Okay, let me look it up. Let's see. Here it is. Impossible. Not capable of being accomplished, attained, or fulfilled. Impossible. Incapable of being true, unable to be done, performed, or executed. Okay, so let me get this straight. If I wanted to follow my dreams and be a professional athlete like a basketball player, weightlifter, or even a world-class runner, the odds of me reaching my goals is impossible. Are you serious? Man, I got my own views on impossible. Check this out.
Believe in the impossible. Succeed doing the impossible. Believe in the impossible. Succeed doing the impossible.
All right, man. I think they get it. So there you have it. Whatever you want to be, you can. Failure is not constructed in your design. And remember, it's not impossible. I repeat, it's not impossible.
So did you get it?
Yeah, they got it.
All right.
Randy, that is so cool. I love that. That's great.
Thank you.
Do the
Thank
kids
you.
get to pick a discipline when they come?
Well, yeah, I mean, the first thing is kind of just introducing them into the lifestyle, into the animals, into the ranching. And then as they move along, yes, we allow them to share with us what they want to do. You know, if they say, oh, I want a rodeo, or I want to jump, or even if they don't necessarily want to necessarily have a riding career, maybe they want to be a farrier or a dentist or equine masseuse or something like that. You know, we have the platform now to be able to introduce them into these worlds, right? And that's the beauty of the platform that we're building, because what we would say, what we would say is our like approach is that we want to appeal and attract these young generations of kids into a sport that normally, or into a culture and an industry that normally seems to be so distant from them and they don't really have a potential access to. So what we do is we plopped our little ranch right here down in Compton. And then what we did was we brought all the new age energy, which is the videos, the music, the hype, the branding, all that stuff, to make the kids go, whoa, that's really exciting. How do I get involved in that? And then that's how we're able to attract and get these kids into the fold, and then be able to potentially help them to find a career or anything that they want to do. Just one, it's all about helping them be grow up to be a better person, right? Just because the horse and the relationship with the horse is what starts that. But then taking it further, it's like, man, I can build a career, I can have a family, maybe I can build a business off of this. Oh, wow. So that's what it's all about, just trying to bring inclusion, diversity into the industry with a new approach. And people love us for that, because they say, yo, you're not doing a traditional thing. You're going against the grain. You're not doing status quo. You know, you're doing something new and fresh and different. And that to me is important about how you get the kids excited. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. We got a whole bunch of really cool initiatives going on. I think that the biggest priority for me now is that because we basically started as like a mom and pop shop, if you will, like a small little community organization in the neighborhood trying to do this thing, and we've grown so drastically over the last few years. I think that we've outgrown our backyard operation. And so what we've done, what I've been working on so hard in this last quarter of this year, is just onboarding all these corporate, building our corporate infrastructure out and starting to really scale and grow up, because now that we're doing formal jumpers and stuff, right? We can't do that stuff from the backyard. We don't have the right, we don't have the right setup for that. We need footing and getting the right horses and the right structures and systems. So I'm actually having my team out looking for properties. I mean, my thing is, even without the funding, we have to figure out. I always dream first. I imagine what I want to do, and then I find my way to that thing. And then once we're at that point, I try to find my way to making that thing happen. So I have my team looking for facilities that we could potentially use, whether it's in Compton, and we actually were looking at a great facility out in Malibu, which would have been a great home to run our jumper program and our athletics clubs, and potentially build some business stuff out there. We are in the middle of trying to figure that out. It's a $5 million property. I'm working on that. I got a bunch of we have a great team of both executives and field staff who are just great with horses. They love the vision, love the mission, and just want to be involved. So I'm building out my clubs right now. So the main things we're doing is Compton Cowboys as a business is continuing to build the business, right? We got to bring in the opportunities that help fund our operation. So big brand deals, big collaborations. We have a movie in development. We have a book that's out. We have merchandise coming out with Ariat. I'm working on my music. I'm a musician. I'm working with Dr. Dre and a few other high profile musicians to build the music side. And then we're going to be doing fashion and all kind of stuff in that regard as the Compton Cowboys brand. Then we're going to use all that hype to build the Compton Junior Equestrians up and build our athletics clubs up. Our community effort, which is the Compton Ranch, kids can come in and figure their way and find their way. Then we say, okay, we need to build clubs so that way these kids can have an opportunity to compete. So I have a few horses in Texas right now that are learning all the barrel patterns, getting on the programs to, potentially build our Western club out where kids can go and be rodeo kids if they want to do that. We're out in Malibu. I have all my English horses out there, my warm bloods, and thoroughbreds out there just learning, like, doing jumpers training. So if you want to be a jumper or you want to do dressage or hunters or anything like that, you can go out that way. And so my goal is for us to be able to have clubs established in all the different disciplines, as many as we can, to say, hey, if a kid would say, I want to do this, we can immediately say, okay, here's the avenue to go do that. We got you, right? So that's what it's all about, is just about building a great business. And that way we can support our own effort and not be so dependent on outside resources and outside funding. But in the midst of all that, it has to be cool, fun, fresh, interesting, attractive to the new generations. And that's how we get everybody, that's how we keep the energy and keep the ball rolling. So
all that sounds like you must have a waiting list, Randy, for kids that want to get into the program. I mean, you've got some resources, but it sounds so appealing that I can just see these kids are clamoring to do this. What is that like? How do the kids get signed up? What's the process?
Yeah, so we actually do. I mean, we get so much interest from and you know what? That's where you're winning the battle at, right? Because what we notice in the community is that there's such a lack of opportunity of outlets and other opportunities that the kids can get involved in that are not traditional, right? So of course you have sports, basketball, football, baseball, and then you have music and arts, or you have like after school programs and other. But a lot of those times, when the parent has to drag the kid to the after school program, you're losing the battle, right? So the horse is the attractive quality that brings the kid, that makes the kids say, I want to go. Please take me to my program where I can do stuff and be better, right? So we haven't, because of the appeal that we've been able to generate, you're right. We get massive amounts of kids, parents saying, hey, my kid can't stop talking about this horse program. Can I send him or her over there? And so you're right, we get a ton of interest from kids all over, and we don't have the capacity to facilitate everyone, right? So the way that we do it now is that we have our cohort, our core group of students who are our after school club program. We usually try to have like a 1-to-1, 2-to-1 ratio with kids to horses. And that's kind of how we're moving. We're still a small organization, believe it or not. We're only, we're not a big giant operation. We're a small organization servicing the local kids. And, once a kid is with us, they stay with us. It's not like we're not just pumping them through the program right in and out in 6 months or whatever. Once they come in, they're part of our family, and we would love to stay with them through their academic career, their writing career, whatever. And once they become an alumni, we have alumni services as well, which is what you see for the Compton Cowboys. We kind of just have to say, depending on what we have set up at the time, if we're able to bring you in to be in the after school program, or maybe just one-off stuff like field trips or visitor days or volunteer days, we try to accommodate as much people as we can. But obviously, being a small organization and with this kind of appeal, it gets tricky. But we're working on it, though.
Yeah, but it almost sounds like you're trying to sort of franchise yourself. If you create these clubs and you can create this model where you can take the playbook that you've sort of figured out and replicate it in other places.
That's absolutely what it is. I mean, that's why it was important for us to put the Compton Cowboys, put the city name in front of the group, because now you can go say, okay, now we got the Atlanta Cowboys, now we got Philly Cowgirls, you know what I'm saying? Now we got, and then we can take it potentially nationwide. We want to start, obviously we're focused in our community. Compton is where it's at because we're servicing the local kids that need it in underserved communities. But we would love to be able to scale it and take it to other underserved communities in different parts of the state, the nation, the continent, the world, that's the goal, right? So by the end of our running, our run, we want to be able to say, man, we set up a few hundred ranches all over the world in these inner city communities, and we established a model that changed the industry forever and set it on a new path and got kids interested and just made it more robust and more thorough.
It's amazing to me. I interviewed the woman from Cowgirls of Color a couple of years ago, which is a program that's here in DC, and she has a similar model.
Yeah, I met them. Yep.
Yeah, bringing kids after school and summer camps and those kinds of things and exposing them to horses. There's a similar program in Detroit. I think it's called Detroit Power. There's one in Philadelphia. So there's a few similar models out there, but you guys have really, you have done such an amazing job of branding yourself in a short period of time. You established this in 2017, and here we are in 2021. And anybody in the equestrian world knows Compton Cowboys. Everybody's heard that name. So you've really landed it. How how did you make those introductions, like with the Ariats and the Wranglers and the Stetsons and the Guinness people, or did they just come to you and stumble on you?
Well, see, that was the thing. I knew from the beginning that if we made this thing cool enough, they would come to us because we would be offering something so original to the industry. And I knew that if we curated it with the right taste and class and aura and ethos, that we could attract these people. So I said, you know what, boom, right? Here's the first deal was the Guinness thing. That thing was coming out. I said, you know what? We just set up the Compton Cowboys. Streets raised us. Horses saved us. Make it all about the gang. Make it really cool and fresh, but make it all about the community and the kids. And I said, I promise. I remember telling my crew, I promise, bro. If we make it cool enough, these people will call us and we will end up being one of the biggest names in the industry, because what we see in the industry is everything tends to be the same thing over and over. It's just in different parts of the world, right? It's the same. If you do jumpers, there's jumpers, everything's the same, right? But there's no, where is the original attitude on the industry? Where's the original approach? Where's the new vibes and the new ways to look and think and talk about these things and still have the same love of the horse, right? And so I knew that once we would establish our brand, I knew that people would reach out, and that's what it's been. All of our work has been reactive. Everything has been, some brands have reached out to us to work with us, and we say, yeah, let's do it. And that's how we want it to look. So it's been a great run.
Well, that video you played earlier will be included in the recording that we're doing. But it's amazing how many big brand names you have landed in a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's, you know, because and this is the reason why I wanted to do the branding and entertainment industry. Firstly, that's my background. That's what I studied, right? But I know how the industry works. It's like once somebody sees something, another brand will say, oh, that's great. Maybe we can use them for our thing. And then it will kind of like create a domino effect, because what happens with media entertainment is all this stuff comes out and it's public facing. So you do one big giant ad, right? That's going to accomplish more than what you could accomplish in 10 years knocking on doors in the community, because everybody's seeing this thing. Everybody on social media, their phone stuff gets shared and reposted and vlogged and tagged. So I'm like, if we do one great piece, somebody else will come in and then they'll see it and they'll ask. So it's been a domino effect. As soon as we did Guinness, the next thing, and we've just been able to spin it off. And you know, there's all these different brands, and the entertainment industry has so much budget to throw around. That's what my thing was. How do we leverage corporate dollars to take care of our horses rather than everyday individuals and communities? Whereas it's tough, it's hard, it's a lot of overhead. I mean, I'm in the city of Compton. We got about 20 head of horses, all, you know, around from Compton to Malibu to Houston. And it's just like, whoa, people wonder, how do you do it? But we're leveraging corporate dollars with companies who have invested interest in seeing the industry move forward or seeing the industry get appeal and attraction. So all the big companies in the equine industry, obviously, it's in their best interest to work with us, because we're bringing, you know, new faces, new flair, new energy, new vibes, and we still definitely love the horse, and we're doing community. It's a no-brainer. So I knew all of that at some point. The bigger ones would say, yo, how do we work with them? How do we work with them? And then that just brings other companies like Google, good companies that just want to tell great stories through media. I knew this would be the formula, and it's been working like clockwork. So I'm super proud of it.
So tell me a little bit about when this film is going to come out. Have you got a title for it yet? You know,
I mean, yeah, the working title is Compton Cowboys. We're in development with the Searchlight Pictures, which is, you know, they're one of the most acclaimed, if not the most acclaimed studio as far as awards in the industry. They always go to the award shows and win. Like, they go to the Oscars and take like best picture, best actor, best director. Like, it's expected of them to do that almost like every year. So we're with an incredible studio. We're in the final phases of finalizing the script, and that thing is so emotional. It's so powerful. It's beautiful. So I'm excited about developing that, and, you know, bringing on, seeing what actors and talent we bring in to represent those characters, and how we build the story out, and how we film and produce that thing. So we're probably about a couple of years out just from that. You know, making a big film, a big studio film takes a while. So we're probably a couple of years out from having that thing hit the ground, but we're rolling along. We got a great studio partner, great writer, great producer. We're going to bring in the director once we finalize the script and go crazy. And I'm executive producing that film too.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's really exciting. And I'll be doing the music
So,
for it.
are you going to name drop and tell us some potential actors or actresses we might see in this thing?
We haven't got anybody on board yet, but you know, I love people. There's a certain few faces that I really love in the industry. I really love Kiki Palmer. I love people Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya and Queen Latifah would be great to play Maisha. Anthony Anderson would be great to play with my dad. There's a few really cool faces that I would love to see in the as when we get to that phase. But so fingers are crossed on that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so I'm looking at my clock, and we've got a pause right here, and we're going to take some questions from the audience. So anybody want to throw out a question for Randy, and we'll sort of jumpstart this conversation? Hi, LA. I see you there. So I'll sort of get us started. I'll throw out the first question then. So Randy, you know, one of the things that I've worked on all year this year is a task force to think about diversity, equality, and inclusion in the equine industry. So I've got a lot of strong feelings about this. What do you think are some of the things that we need to do in our industry to reduce barriers or to make it more welcoming for people from underrepresented communities to get involved? Is there some ideas you have that we should sort of begin to kind of communicate that would help that effort?
Absolutely. Well, I think most of it has to do with access. And a lot of where we see in the industry is that a lot of the horse activities take places in places where the underserved communities and diverse communities don't necessarily dwell, right? So there's a gap that needs to be bridged. And so I think that finding a way to, and more times than not, you got to think like for in the inner city, right? More times than not, or research shows that when you grow up in what we call the hood, right? Your life is essentially a 5-mile radius, you know what I'm saying, from where you live. So you got to think about that. If I'm in Compton and all the ranches are in Malibu and Palos Verdes and, you know, all out in the valley, I don't even have opportunity to get to the horses. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we have to find a way to, one, you know, use folks that have the horses and have the resources and things, bring those horses down to the inner city, bring them into spaces where kids can have an opportunity to see them, right? Whether you're going down into local schools, local parks, you don't even have to set up formal things like the days at the school. You can find a little park in the neighborhood, rig your horses down there, and just have the horses at the park, and have your horses at the park and say, and just be there and say, you know, hey, people ask questions, hey, what are these horses doing here? The kids are going, oh, little horses. Say, hey, you know what? I just wanted to bring my horses down here for you so you guys can see them and touch them. And then that kind of starts to bridge the gap, because the kids where we come from, they can't get interested in something they could never see. If it's only on TV, it's just a dream. It's a fantasy. It's not real to them. So there's a proximity gap, right? From like where the horses are to where these underrepresented communities are. There's that part of it. Then there's generally has to be the energy in which you carry and the aura in which you present your program or anything like that. You know, there's a very elitist kind of attitude in the industry, right? It's like, it almost comes off as like horses are for the well-off, right? Horses are for the affluent, horses are for the wealthy. And that's not the case. Horses are everybody. They're God's animals, God's creatures. We are too. So we have to find a way to express that through our organizations and our movements. And you have to be proactive about it. You can't assume, you know, a lot of times these organizations are mostly white, and it's not no one's fault. It's just, it could be by nature of circumstance that, hey, you know, these are the people I'm around. This is what I do. This is my family, friends, local people. And so a lot of times your organization might not be diverse or inclusive just by nature of circumstance, not because you're intentionally excluding people, right? So what does that mean? That means if you want it to be robust and inclusive and diverse, you have to be proactive about that. You have to do your own outreach, you know what I'm saying? And even if you can't physically be going to these communities, develop creative flyers and different kinds of imagery on your page and say, you know, it could be little stuff, right? Like put a flyer and find a picture of, like, you know, inner city students or, you know, Black and brown kids that are around horses. Find some picture on Google and say, hey, we have a program where we want our program to be diverse and inclusive and attract all kinds of kids. This is for everybody. You have to constantly message that over and over and over again, in order to attract those audiences. And the other thing is that this is a really important piece that I always harp on. These new generation kids, especially kids from the inner cities and the kids from different ethnic backgrounds, they love the idea of like hype and fun and energy, and it got to be robust and flavorful, right? So a lot of the industry, when I move around the industry, a lot of the activities that we see, they're all very quiet, calm, conservative. Don't get dirt on my this. Don't make sure your groom is perfectly this, and everything is so posh and so proper. It turns the kids off that come from environments that are not familiar with that, because we immediately feel like, wow, I don't belong there. I don't know how to keep things perfectly clean. I don't have perfectly nice boots. I don't have all these things. So we have to start breaking that down and stop being so perfectionist about everything, and just focus more on the love of the horse and the connection with the horse. That's what's most important. And so you just got to be able to find a way to bring some flair to your organization, or some movement. Add some colors, put on some music, let the kids have some fun. Show some, because I understand, because a lot of times when you're around the horses, we teach, right? You want to make sure you're not spooking the horses. You don't put yourself in danger. So a lot of that loud, kind of energetic stuff, you naturally wouldn't teach if you're thinking about it kind of in a normal state of mind. But what we do is we found a way to reconcile that. You can still have fun and energy and all this stuff, and still keep the horses safe, keep everybody sound, still have discipline and all that stuff, and still equally love the horse. So it's just what it's all about. Have fun, be proactive, do outreach, go out of your way to show that you care and you want to build out and be more robust and thorough and inclusive, and just be open to those conversations, and be open-minded about doing something new. The status quo is just that. It's like at some point it becomes mundane and boring. You have to be open about new activities, or doing things in an entirely new way. Maybe go put a whole bunch of colors in your horse's hair. It's not something that is normally taught, right? Like, you groom, you have it shiny, you might braid it, or you put the product. But yeah, it's nothing wrong with one of my friends. She does extensions for horses. She'll come out, she got all the colors, she'll put the colors in, make it super long, make it nice, take pictures. She'll like draw stuff on the horses, and everything is about, as long as the horse is safe and sound and not bothered, have some fun with the horses. They're supposed to be here for us to love and to have fun with them, not to be treating them like we're just like robot. Everything's so robotic and perfect, right? Like, that's not it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it. Okay, who else has got a question for Randy?
Still on the code.
Julie?
Yep.
Hey, so I wrote it in chat, but is that video available for us to share?
Yeah.
You know what? That is I need to make it available. Maybe I need to get it up on YouTube or something. We just
that would be amazing. Yeah, I'd love to share that.
Yeah, but
cool.
You can also stick it in my Dropbox, Randy, and Wow can spread it around some too. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool. We should do that. We should make sure we get that shared. We just produced that because we had a big fundraiser opportunity. We did a big clinic with Jessica Springsteen. She came down to the LA Equestrian Center and did a whole like Olympic caliber, high grade clinic for our young kids. And that was so fun. So we just got that video made. So it's still relatively new. So yeah.
It's great. It's a really great video.
Yeah, it's cool. Who else has got a question? There's LA. I can always count on LA. Hi, LA. Unmute yourself.
Hey, Randy. Thanks so much for being here. And kind of coming off of that last question, what role do you think social media has played in accelerating the recognition of the franchise and the Cowboy name and brand?
That's a great question. And actually, social media is the reason why you see us today. I was like, let's start a social media page and put everything on there. I was like, we have this lifestyle, right? We have the ranch, we have the horses, we have each other. I was like, it's no good if nobody can see it. So you have to show it. So let's put it on Instagram. let's hype it up, hashtag everything, share it with everybody. And we built an entire operation just from having a strong Instagram page. I mean, from 2017, where there was nothing, no hype or nothing, no, we had our nonprofit, and our auntie and my aunt was starting to retire. They were going to close the organization, and we're going to just leave it as a legacy thing, 30 years, and be done with it. And I said, you know, if I could have a shot at it, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it my way, which is the new age way, which is everything a hype, lights, camera, action, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, right? And that has driven us, that has carried us. Instagram has carried us. We've gotten opportunities that are strictly just Instagram opportunities, like just and have been great business building opportunities just because we have, hey, you know, like the Breeders' Cup was just like, hey, if you guys come to the Breeders' Cup, post up a couple posts, we'll feed your horses for 3 months. We'll provide funding for 3 months worth of feed for your whole stock, you know, like, so that kind of stuff. And this is like just from having a cool Instagram page, right? So that's what it's all about. It's like just social media has driven it. And that's what I've been encouraging everybody in the industry now is like, get your stuff on social.
Well, putting it on social is one thing. Sustaining it and consistently posting is another. Do you have people on your team that's built in to keep sustaining the effort and keep that flavor going?
Absolutely. And that's another great question. And that was where I was at. I was at one point I was doing everything myself, right? And then it just was like, oh gosh, like I can't do this. I got to feed the horses. I got to haul them everywhere. I got to do all the contracts. And then I got to post something and do a caption. It was just too much. So what was important was that as the business started to grow, a lot of the funding that we get, I started reinvesting it back into people, right? Into your internal team, because that's what's going to help you really grow is having people in your fold that, hey, so now we're fully represented. We have an attorney, an accountant, a business manager, a publicist, a social media manager, all these things that a corporation would have, so that everything all the departments can work amongst each other to keep things flowing. And we're still fine tuning that formula, but you know, just gratefully we've been able to bring people in and focus a lot of the resources. Because if you're going to spend money on stuff, like a lot of people spend a lot of money on marketing, like posters, flyers, you know, advertisement space and all that. I would spend your money on bringing in the people who can help you execute stuff. So bringing in a social media person who can help drive, not just react and kind of just be in the moment, but like actually have proactive campaigns about driving your social media, that's key. And we just got somebody for that. So that's absolutely right.
Okay, who else had a question? Cliff, I see you over there.
Yeah, thank you, Randy, for being here. I appreciate the time. From your position, kind of as the marketing side of promoting the horse industry, what do you see as the kind of next steps industry-wise? I mean, what does the horse industry look like 10, 15 years from now?
Oh, I love this question. I was just talking to the USEF about this, and I get really excited about this because my thing is this, right? You have the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the MLS, all these major sports leagues. And what they all have in common is that they have incredible production value, marketing, right? Like they get the lights, the cameras, and the action together around the sport, around the industry that helps expose it and bring attractive appeal to it. So right now the industry is very, like I said, quiet, calm. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, a bunch of really great organizations all over the world, but everybody's in their own silo, focused on their own mission and we have to, what I call, take this thing from the blacktop, which is outside, kind of just hanging out, to the pros, the hard floor, which is the big stadium lights, cameras. So in the future of the industry for me is the USEF is going to be just as hot as NFL, NBA, anything. But the only way to do it is you have to bring in the marketing hype, right? You got to bring lights, camera, action. I was just thinking, like, you know, when you go to these big time horse shows, it's like, you know, they don't want to, it's hard to even find stuff on TV. And the reason why these networks don't carry anything is because there's no hype to bring an audience in, so they're not going to go out of their way to put it on the primetime spot because it's boring to watch. Nobody wants to actually see it. I mean, you turn it on, you're watching the channel, and the channel is absolutely quiet. It's just like, even the people that talk, here's and they're gonna jump. It's like, it's so quiet. Everything is so boring. How do you expect to get appeal? I'm gonna change the game. I want to have a whole like ESPN style attitude around horses. You know, we got panelists that are hyped and excited about horses. They know the background on the horses. We get to watch them when they're pulling up to the show. We get to see the rigs, see the riders hopping out the rigs with their custom stuff on them. Be like, oh man, so and so just got here. Man, look at that horse. He or she had that horse for about 13 years. They've been riding together. They're going to compete. Look at the sponsored by Ariat. Like, look at their boots. Look, like the hype. We got to bring the hype. So for me, it's like, the thing that's going to uplift the industry is production value. Lights, camera, action, and great personalities is going to change the game. Period.
I have to say, because LA put this in the chat box, but when I was recently talking with Tom over at United States Equestrian Federation, they stumbled upon that Snoop Dogg thing that happened during the Olympics, and you could not believe the amount of buzz they got out of that. Totally unplanned and unscripted, but it has just gone viral for them over there. And it's exactly what you're talking about, Randy. Suddenly he made this like really cool, really fun, just got people so excited about, watching dressage. Really?
How fun can it be, right? Because the sport is so quiet and disciplined, you have to counter that with something that's extremely like hot and hyper, right? So to have like Snoop Dogg watching a dressage round, he's not even a horse person, but imagine that was something that people could go to. Imagine if he was a regular panelist on the dressage shows, right? And he's like, oh, and he's that whole thing, right? Like, that's what we're talking about. Lights, camera, action, and cool personalities. That's what's going to drive it. So we got to go out there and find these young kids or the younger personalities, maybe people that's in college or coming out of high school or just out of college that want to be personalities that love the horses, love the industry. Give them a microphone, give them a platform. We got to do podcasts, radio shows, TV shows, stuff that is hype that covers everything around that, more robust stuff around the industry, and not just the energy we got to elevate the energy like at times 1,000, and then we'll have some fun.
Well, anybody else a question? I do have to tell you, I just heard a fascinating presentation about leveraging social media influencers in our industry and how we get people who aren't horse people at all, but are good social media influencers, and how we get them engaged in talking about and sharing what's going on in our space. It was fascinating. And I think
I love that, right? Because you got to think, right? Like, okay, so with the horses, like there's a whole like all the tack and stuff. If you imagine that stuff as like fashion, right? And then you just find a fashionista, somebody who understands like the high level designer taste for clothing and stuff. And then you make like, what if we had a cool runway show that was like, everybody come, you put your best tack on your horse and you walk your horse down the runway, and you got like a fashionista commenting on like, oh man, did you see that saddle pad is handmade by so-and-so? Oh, you really brought it out today. You bring all these cameras, you interview them in real time, and it's like a red carpet thing, like those kind of things. Yeah, not now that fashionista isn't a horse person at all, but she loves fashion, and the fashion is on the horse, so now she's hyped. You know what I'm saying? So now that becomes a conversation. All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, who else out there's got a question for Randy? I'm gonna check my chat box here. Let's see. I heard there was one other question. LA, I think you asked. Randy, remind me again. Is Ariat one of your big sponsors?
Ariat is our biggest sponsor.
I thought that was what you'd said early on. Okay.
Yeah, they do everything from influencer. We have an influencer relationship where they engaged us to promote their stuff on social media. We have a clothing line collaboration that's coming out, so we're about to release another capsule of clothing, Area Company Cowboys collab line. They just donate from their foundation to our nonprofit as a community effort, both clothes and funding. And so they carried us through the pandemic, most certainly.
Good job. Your logo was not lost on me wearing it.
Okay, Randy, just be aware, I am sharing your email address with this crowd on the chat box here so they know.
Okay.
All right. So that's how you reach out to Randy and track him down. It's Rowdy at ComptonCowboys.com. I love that. I love that handle. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's one of your next big events? I mean, have you been invited to do the Rose Bowl parade, or you're going to Pasadena? What's coming up?
We actually have been invited to the Rose Bowl parade, and I'm actually glad you brought that up because I do need to circle back with those folks because there's so much that goes into that. But they definitely invited us, the head of the equine division over there, invited us and wanted us to be a part of that. So that's really exciting. One of my students is in the USHJA finals this week, so she's out there and she'll be where she's. I think we're hauling her to Vegas tomorrow. She'll be out there. That's happening. We got a bunch of really cool like holiday stuff we're about to start doing in the community. Most of our stuff, what really gets me most excited is about a lot of the community initiatives we do. So stay tuned for that stuff. We have like I said, our next collaboration for our clothing line should be coming in around January for Ariat. So they'll probably be starting to show some marketing stuff around that release. There's a bunch of really cool products like, stuff that they never would have done without collaborating with us. So they're going to do like athletic sportswear, like joggers, like hoodies with the sweats that match, all the dry fit stuff that you see the football players kind of wearing, and like really cool sneakers, new like caps, ball caps that are really dope. Some really cool vests and stuff. And I love what they're doing because they're taking their product lines and just basically remixing it with our branding. And then did a couple of original products, which we get really excited about. So that's happening. We got booked to be to be featured guest at Stagecoach this coming up in the spring. So we're going to take our horses out there and do a whole pop-up activation at Stagecoach with our brand and movement, and that's really, really, really exciting. And then my music, the CMA Awards just did a pre-show special where they were acknowledging and highlighting some of the new faces in country music, and I was featured in that prominently. So that's exciting. I got some more music stuff. I got some more music stuff coming out, and just stay tuned to Compton Cowboys. Stay on ComptonCowboys.com. I mean, our social medias, and at Compton Cowboys on any social media is at Compton Cowboys. YouTube and stuff. Like, stay tuned to everything, as you'll start seeing all the really cool developments that are happening. We got a lot.
Okay, super. Okay, guys, my clock says we got 5 minutes before we're going to take a wrap up. So anybody else got a question or a thought or something you want to throw out there to talk about? I'm just so stoked about this thing. Randy's been serving on one of our focus groups for a new marketing campaign that we want to roll out. Sort of to his earlier point, which is we need something fresh and edgy and kind of exciting to get people interested in the industry, and we really want to think long and hard about how we break down those silos. So we've really we've got a couple of different ideas, and he was part of that plan. So you're going to see some interesting things coming up, I think, next year when we get it all together.
That's very exciting, and I look forward to finding ways to work together to lift up the industry and make it just press refresh on it and make it fun. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be as hot as the NFL and the NBA and all that. Like we can be just as robust, and there's horses all over the world. That's where we get our real cutting edge. Because you imagine, like, people play like soccer is everywhere, right? But like, we can, horses are everywhere too. So we should have just as much energy and respect and love around the world and access as all those other industries. So I look forward to being a leader on the front line of helping move the industry forward in that way.
That's cool. It amazes me when I hear about horses and riders in other countries, because sometimes those jockeys are almost like trading cards, like with baseball players. They have a lot more notoriety in some other countries with their riders and that kind of thing. And I think we need to think about how we're going to leverage some of that here in the US and kind of raise the profile a little bit, if you will, so to speak.
It's gonna happen. We just got to get it together, come along, and there's different barriers that we face. There's all the different social issues that we face that has kind of created barriers amongst us. But as we start working on those, we'll start coming together and I think the horse can be a catalyst to bring people together and fight a lot of that, counteract a lot of that negativity that we find out there. Just our country is just going through it right now. But I think as long as we keep uplifting the horse, I think we're going to continue to uplift each other.
Yeah, Yeah. Somebody posted in here, said European pentathlon riders receive cars, and here the sport is not even on the radar. Exactly right. Yeah, it's amazing.
Right. So we'll get it together. We coming. We got some work to do.
That's right. Got some work to do, but we'll get ourselves there. So you know how to reach Randy. You're welcome to contact me if you want to follow up. We're going to post this. We recorded it. We're going to post it up on our website. We're going to give Randy a copy so he can share it too. And we'll have him back sometime in the not too distant future so he can give us an update on what's going on over there. So with that, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us today, and especially Randy for all he's done. I've got lots of people, you know, LA knows me well enough to know that I love to network. So I've already said, hey, Randy, I need to make sure I introduce you to so-and-so and this person and that person, because there's a lot more angles that can be played with some of the things that he's got going on over there. So we're really excited about that. So thanks again for joining us today, and look for this webinar to be posted up here very shortly. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday if we don't talk to you before then. And I'm excited about the new year. So
let's do it. Thank you all so much.
Do it.
Later. Bye.
Bye.